Hello. I hope everybody's doing okay today. Let's see. This is Carlos, and in today's episode of a brand new show, which, as of me recording this episode right now, I don't know the name. But I'm trying to get ChatGPT to help me set it up, where I don't know exactly what I'm trying to achieve with this one podcast in particular, but it's kind of like a venting place, a place for me to, like my son calls it, life lesson him. I think it's a place for me to dump everything. You know how people say we should write our thoughts down when we're happy, when we're angry, or whatever, especially when you're angry and whatnot, help you break things down and understand them better. And a lot of us talk to ourselves. So, one thing that I noticed, because, with the whole New Parents for the Second Time podcast and the other podcast and blah, 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 one thing I noticed is that Jason is always telling me not to be life lessoning him. Like, I don't know how to joke anymore. Like, can we just talk about something without you making it such a big thing and just keep it lighthearted? And so I kept telling him, I get it, and I'm sorry, I am trying, but I want to jam as much information in your head as I can before, God forbid, I die tomorrow or something. You never know. Life, like I always tell him, life is there to kick us in the balls, roll our face in the mud, try to choke us down, and it's for us to, stand there. Actually, that's what I should call this episode. Do we survive, live, or thrive in life? Survive, live, or thrive. Because that's truly what it's about. It's about, bad things happen a lot more often and in more frequency than good things. So, it's like waves. Good ones and bad ones come, and sometimes it's calm, sometimes it's not. So, we just gotta be ready for it all. And so, I decided to maybe this is what I need to do. That way, this encompasses a lot of things, which is why I started a New Parents for the Second Time podcast, because it's wanting to be able to capture those memories. Even later is better than never. And technology now is such a difference in the last 12 years, the 14 years from when Jason was born, that it's so completely different. And so part of that was to be able to try to leave some kind of roadmap for them, leave some kind of memories that are harder to fade away. And I mean, if you think about it, how many of us truly know about anybody beyond the generation of our grandparents? A few lucky ones will know their great-grandparents. Other ones, that's it. That's about it. Like my niece. My niece got to know her great-grandmother, and great-grandfather. But that's it. We know the names, and we have some books and stuff like that from their parents, but before that, don't really know much. And in Venezuela, harder to keep records, and so on and so forth. So, this is the kind of thing that truly helps out everybody. It's why I started the PKDK podcast production, to be able to share this with anyone and everyone that truly wants to just express themselves in a healthy way. You don't have to step on others so that you can actually climb. And so, I don't know. It's about leaving something for them. It's about for everybody in the different generations to know each other, to know more about where we come from. And this is why everything becomes where I talk random, jump from one point to the next, which is going to make it wonderful when I try to interpret myself into the Spanish version of this. Because then at that point I start to think, well, if I want to reach out and hopefully the 2 or 3 people may listen to this in the future will actually be able to get something good out of it. So why not do it in Spanish? And so if you hear a lot of sloppy in Spain and whatnot, it's because I'm out on the trail. I'm just gonna record a video of this instead, and so that way you could actually see what I see. And I'm just gonna post a picture because I decided to just start recording directly from the phone, from the Spreaker app. See if ChatGPT can help me transcribe this. I'm very new to all of this stuff. I usually hate using a computer. Don't hate it, but don't like it. So I normally don't use it. I can go 6, 7, 8 months without using a computer. Sometimes, one time I lost my computer for 6 months, my laptop. So that should tell you something. That's how often I usually use it. And so a lot of that is going to be in this podcast. It's going to be a lot of me ranting, venting. One moment I thought I'll call it Grumpy Old Man, but somebody already has that one. You know what grinds my gears? But that's too Family Guy. I love it. And something easier to not too complicated. So ChatGPT, once again, gave me a few suggestions. Let's see how it goes. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's hard to be nice and boring and stuff like that because people think they take kindness for stupidity. And I don't know. That's one of the tricky parts when it comes to kids and raising them, because so many people look so nice and then they are such dicks. But that's what I mean. Like, if you spend all of your time and energy, like I used to do, and I'm still learning not to, about getting pissed off of other people's actions, well, it's hard to get past the hump. But what can I do? Well, I can only do the best for myself, right? And the best for everybody else around me, or at least not to stomp on or step on anybody else while I try to climb up. If you can bring somebody up with you, do so. And so, I don't get it. I truly don't. I'm going to give you an example of how screwed up some things are. If you tell people, like we've seen those examples of Payless shoes and stuff like that, that they make the store look like a high-end store, and they sell the same $50 shoes for $700 because people now think it's quality. That is such a reality. I'm not fucking with you. That is such a reality. Look at, not even going to tell you about my interpreting business, which I offer a unlimited commission. So, put it simple. You say, I get a client and say, hey, I got referred to you by such and such. I go ahead and I give you a percentage of that client, as long as the client is giving me work. So if that client gets me one job and that's it, that's the percentage you get, one job. If that client gives me work every month, every week, every year for the rest of our business life, you get a commission the whole time. And people still look at it like, yeah, nah, there's something funky about that. You're taking advantage of me. Like, what? Usually you only get commission from the first sale of one client. If you want another one, you got to get a whole new client, and they just keep ripping the profits off that client already. I'm giving you a profit off the whole thing every single damn time. Nope. All right. Now let's take PKDK, for example. On PKDK, I have spent this year and part of last year, so 2024 right now, and we are in mid-September. And I haven't really been able to do anything shows related. I've been doing more background work while getting a bunch of other stuff in the house ready and other private business, personal life stuff. So part of what I've been working on is how to set up the company, or the guidelines, the rules, the credo, the motto, the way of doing business, where it truly empowers everybody. Well, I started to think, because I got my own podcast, great. And then I realized I can make as many as I want. So I'm going to make this is how it started, right? I'm going to give you a roadmap, sorry. So I keep jumping back and forth. I'm going to give you straight up right now. During COVID, we were fortunate enough that we had so much time available. None of us got sick. We were all able to, I was a volunteer firefighter at that time. And I also, because of my job, I had to also go to jails and courthouses and so on and so forth. And then with a firefighter, even more. And thankfully, none of us got sick, nothing. And then when the COVID vaccine came out, keep in mind, my son at that point is 11 years old. We haven't had 10 going to 11. We never not wanted to have kids. We never wanted to have kids again. It just, whatever happened, we were fine with it. And so we didn't take any precautions. We didn't seek it either. Now go to COVID. She takes the vaccine. And 6 months later, she's pregnant. Holy cow, that's freaking awesome. Thankfully, we're also getting out of COVID at that point. So we were able to do things relatively normal, which means, going to the appointments with her and so on and so forth. A few times that I couldn't go into certain places, but that was about it. And so now, during COVID, I had discovered podcasting because I got tired of music. It was the same thing over and over and over. And I listened to Zaz and Jason Mraz and things like that, but the rest is just the same thing. So I couldn't even listen to the radio. I haven't listened to the radio in like 5 or 6 years. I haven't listened to music that I just put on music. Well, that's a lie. I've done it 3 times in the last 5 or 6 years. And the one that I just did was because I went to see Dog Star, the band by Keanu Reeves and the other guys. And I had to listen to it. And then when we go to see Jason Mraz, gotta listen to it ahead of, kind of like pre-game, but pre-concert, since I don't game. And so, with that said, I don't know. That's when I started to think. I remember what I had done 12 years earlier. When Jennifer was pregnant with Ellie, with Jason, that was the last time I went to Venezuela, back in 2010. And I saw my grandmother. And one thing that many people don't want to see, many of us don't see or realize, or don't like to talk about, is death. Meaning, we act like if it's not there. There's a person who's elderly, and anytime anything can happen, but we're not going to act like death is around the corner, or it could happen at any given. Because it can happen to any of us at 10, 20, 30, 50, 80, especially more when you get up there. So when I was with my grandmother, she was already in her 80s, I asked her if, because how do you tell somebody, hey, by the way, can you give out a message for after you're dead? Fuck you. But I decided to ask her, what would you like to tell Jason when he's 18? Given he was in James Bailey. And so, what would you like to tell mom, my mom, and 20 years from now? And so on and so forth. And I remember that, because when she passed away, I sent out that recording to everybody in the family. And it was a nice closure, Sorry. And so I started thinking about the same thing with Jason and with Ellie. With Jason, I try to do like a Facebook page and stuff like that. But guess what? He doesn't give a crap about Facebook. And so it's just there. I made him a Facebook. I started posting things on his Facebook, and by the age of 6, 7, 8 and whatnot, it was like, yeah, no, I don't care. So, and with all the privacy issues with Facebook and stuff like that, privacy, but you put it in a podcast. Well, there you go, exactly. But the point being, if I'm going to do it, might as well get the good out of it. And I wasn't getting it with Facebook. So this time around, again, 12 years later, now we have podcasting made easy. And now we got all these kinds of stuff. I mean, look at it this way. You can just tell Alexa, I can watch Chip and Dale on Disney Plus and Mickey Mouse and all the stuff that I did on the original language in Spanish. So I put all of those with Ellie that I wasn't able to do with Jason, which means now she's understanding Spanish and English equally because he's more exposed to it, except for just me. And, so taking advantage of those things, I thought, well, what about a podcast? Let's do a podcast. Maybe that way, not even a podcast. It started like, let's do auto diaries for ourselves, to be able to just keep at home and listen when we're old and laugh our ass off, smoke a bowl, bring out a bong and just, smoke up and shit. Listen it among kids and grandkids and whatever. Oh, you know what? We can leave stories and storytelling and blah, blah, blah. Okay, great. Well, why don't we make it a podcast? That way, if we're going to be leaving tips and things for our kids on how to be able to maybe help themselves a little bit if we're not around, and even if we are around, you know what we realize? That you forget a lot of the shit. Seriously, like we couldn't remember if we used to sanitize or not sanitize the bottles, what kind of diapers we use, what kind of things we did, because you go through the whole thing of the diapers that suck and don't suck, like the Loves, they're shit. They're like the Kias of diapers. So I think we get, I forget if we get Huggies or Pampers, but that's in one of the episodes of the podcast, and so on and so forth. Just create memories. Like right now, one of the last episodes was a bonfire with all the kids and stuff like that, with Alex's kids and mine. And then I realized I was also getting tired of TV like I did with music and radio, because it's the same shit. You got a whole bunch of experts. I don't know, how can you be an expert on Bigfoot or aliens when, well, let's not even get there. I almost fell on my chair, that's how. Bench. I'm outside under the trail. But, investigator, maybe. Expert, get the hell out of here. And so, it's the kind of things that I decided to say, you know what, I just need a voice to the void. And I'm going to make it about things that are, again, there's no way to truly say with tangible proof what's there and what's not there. But because of my own personal experiences, I know that there are things that are paranormal. And I am a Bigfoot believer and stuff like that. But I don't believe that Bigfoot and aliens are working in cahoots. You know what I mean? And that Bigfoot travels interdimensionally and whatnot. Like, no, I feel like they're just another species. They are smart as fuck to stay the hell away from us. So, it's the kinds of stuff where I don't care about being famous. I don't care about, money does buy peace of mind and happiness, because money is not the root of evil. Man is evil, woman is evil, are evil, and if money just allows you to be yourself, and the more money you have, the more you can be yourself, because it's easier to give a wad of money to somebody and walk away from the issue. So it just brings out the real us, because if you're a nice person, you're going to continue to be a nice person. And so I don't want to be famous, because famous people don't have a private life. I enjoy my private life. You can't be a nudist and, have everybody watching you all the time. You can, but you get my point. So I decided that I was going to just find those real looking, sounding cases and maybe find the puzzle of it. So Higher and Paranormal came out, which the Spanish version with Elevado en lo Paranormal. But I haven't put any episodes in either of those two in a long time, because we're busy as hell right now. Hopefully I'll be able to get everything done by this year and start 2025 even stronger, setting up a team and the company and everything properly, because then all of that resulted into this. This is where it all ends up. It ends up in me saying, I am tired that everybody wants to charge around $5. The average is $3 to $5 per show. Even when the same creator creates 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 shows, they want to charge the listeners per show, because it's all about the money. Let's make money. And I get it. You need money to make things and to get going and to be able to make a living and stuff like that. But like Forrest Gump said, you only need so much money, the rest is for showing off. And so, the potberry came to be. The idea of it, the seed of it. And I'm still trying to untangle the details. But so far what I got is this. I want to provide a space where people can express themselves in a healthy way, in a positive way. If they have something that will enhance others' life, even by providing a laugh, by providing information, by providing whatever it is. But if you're going to be a Joe Rogan or some other ones like that, my rights, my freedoms, my thoughts, my feelings are more than others, or value more? No. Because that's not living in society. Living in society means that we got to self-restrict. We got to be able to know, hey, you know what? The neighbors over there don't like fireworks. Let's make it an easy one. So, because a few neighbors don't like fireworks, but I love fireworks, I'm going to compromise. I reach out to my most direct neighbors, and I ask, would you mind if I do fireworks on New Year's? That's about it. That's the only one I really care about. Well, if you want to do New Year's and even 4th of July, you can go ahead. Okay, perfect. But what I don't do is that I start fireworks 3 days before and 3 days after. You know what I mean? Because whether it's their dogs, whether it's the person, whatever the case would be, it's just respecting somebody else's. Like, you might be okay partying at 3 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday, somebody else might not. That might be your Fridays, that might be their Mondays, or their actual Tuesdays. So that's the kind of stuff I can't deal with. And I say, you know what? Everybody right now is out there for the money. And people with talent, with a vision, with a passion, are being ignored if they cannot make money. And they just want a chance. Sometimes we just want to be given a chance. Sometimes we just want to be given a space to be able to explore and express ourselves. And I said, you know what? I'm already paying whatever it is that I'm paying to have this podcast yet going on. So let me start offering it to somebody else. But you know what I found? People are asking, so how many downloads you got? What's your income? What's the profit? What am I going to be making? What are you going to pay me to be on your network? What the fuck? All right, so how do I sell all of this? How do I put all of this? And blah, blah, blah. And I realize it's this. There is your public library where you can go and have access to all of the books that you want. You can borrow them, bring them back. You can enjoy them. You can buy them. Whatever the case you want to do. You can just go there and enjoy them right there. Now, the library needs money to be able to run. For-profit, non-for-profits don't make shit. And so, well, this is not a non-for-profit either. It's just non-for-greed either. By that I mean, a car needs gas to run, but you don't buy a car just to get gas. And so, a business needs money to run, but you don't create a business just to make money. You create a business to provide a service. And a lot of people forget that. They look into what business I can make money on, and that's what I'm going to do. And they don't look at what can the business I love to provide service in, and let me do that. And so, to make money in this business, I decided that I'm going to, because I met a few people to do this, and they're telling me that my ideas are ridiculous. It's the opposite of what it should be done. And I'm not going to be making nearly enough money, even if I'm as successful as I want to be. I'm not going to be making nearly as much money as I could be making if I did it like everybody else. So I said, great, sounds like I'm going to be doing it right. Because imagine that library goes and tells you, you know what, you like illustrations, you like reading, you like writing, you like creating, you like any of editing, whatever it is that you like to do, the library will provide you with all the tools that you need for free. The canvas, the pencils, the paint, and typewriter, computer, whatever the hell it is. And then we're going to publish it for you. Now, if you make a sale on your book, we're going to split it 50-50. You put in the work, and we put some of the work, we provide you with the tools, and blah, blah, blah. Well, why should you keep 50%? Oh, shit. You see what I mean? And where's the trick on that? Why is it not, if you're not charging me anything, it must be a trap or something bad. But then you have your Barnes & Nobles. Where the Barnes & Nobles goes and you may be able to go read your book there and whatnot, but the idea for them is buy my shit, get the hell out. I'm putting this business to make money, not to get people to read. And so they just make money with readers, not because they're interested in people reading. The library is interested in people reading, and they don't make money out of it. Now, let's mix both of them, and we have PKDK Pod, a crowdfunding source where people are able to go ahead and create their own shows, create their own things, post it onto a main library, where in this library, you go and search for PKDK in any podcast player or PKDK Productions, and then you'll be able to find every single show in the library. Oh, but then you go ahead and you decide, you know what? I want to support this, guys. I want to subscribe to it. And I want to pay my monthly subscription for ad-free. Well, that's awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, and how'd that work? Well, the way it works is that you pay your subscription, $3 a month on patreon.com/PKDK. And then that's it. You choose a tier. Now, They're all $3. The baseline, it's all $3. The only difference where you're going to have one tier per show, it's so that way you can choose who to give your money to and who's going to get that recognition. Meaning, let's say you follow Jamie Angle and you want to make sure that Jamie Angle gets credit for your subscription. You go to the Jamie Angle tier for $3. You get all of the shows available in the network, whether it's the 5 or 6 that we have right now, or whether it is 6 or 7,000 we'll have in the future, or 6 or 700,000 we'll have in the future. Who knows? You get access to all of it for the same $3. Each artist itself may have another tier with some of the additional products that they might sell themselves, like if you want to have a one-on-one or whatever the case. But that's all that PKDK takes. $3, you get every single show. The creator gets 50%, PKDK gets 50%, and then out of those 50%, there's also going to be 10% of that goes into a general fund. That general fund gets spread among everybody who participates into giving the rights to PKDK to be able to stream their shows and have it a part of the library forever. Not to be the owner, not to be any of that. But if you go and you sell out to Amazon or somebody else and they buy your show or whatnot, now you have an insurance. Because now, even if you sell the show and they go and take all of their stuff, all of your show, and they just sold it. Bam. That's not your stuff anymore. Great. You still get an income from PKDK. Because we have a deal that excludes that. And for you to be able to sell it, they will have to agree that whatever they make on their own, that's great. But whatever your PKDK makes out of it, it's yours and mine, or PKDK's. And then whatever, it's just yours. And that's still an option. You don't have to agree to do that. You can literally just make your show, upload it to our folder, and that's it. And somehow, I am having so much problem even getting that idea across. Like, I actually had somebody offer me 50 or 75 bucks, I forget, to use my wife's wax studio where I was doing some of the recordings as a studio. And, but when I said I'm going to do it for free, they ran away. They actually went and found somebody else who would charge them. I don't get it. So at this point, I'm going all out. I really want to make this work. And I really like the idea. Keep in mind, I already have a business. Not that I'm a millionaire or anything like that, but I already have my American dream of being able to have a job that I love, enough to be able to have my own little home and great neighbors and, just a normal middle class life. But I would like to be able to have an upgrade to that, right? So let's do it all together, blah, blah, blah. So now I'm like literally setting it all up. That's what has been taking me this whole time. It has been getting Revoicer for the apps to make sure they get that AI voices and stuff like that. I would like to make it in as many different languages as possible. Getting StreamYard to be able to have like streaming to multiple locations at once and blah blah blah. Getting up the website, registering the business with the state, And so all of those things have been taking time. Plus, my basement was leaking. I had to dig out the front and do a whole bunch of concrete that I'm still working on it. My grow room, I had to remove it. Now I'm gonna have one grow room instead of two. And then I'm gonna make a recording studio about 8 feet by 8 feet, maybe 10 by 10, depending on how I can rearrange things. And then my basement, my office in the basement as well. So I gotta make it soundproof. I don't know anything about any of that, so I gotta figure out how to do all that. But I do have insulation, and I'm gonna get all that set up for it. And that way, be able to offer that service, at least to local people. Like, you wanna go at it? You know what I would like? I would like to have stories, a lot of entertainment stories. Like, your friends of mine have books, and I'm gonna be going ahead and reading some of those, making each chapter an episode and stuff like that. But it's like this motorcycle. Okay. But, sorry, that was just noise from outside. So yeah, the idea is trying to get all of this set up, being able to get everything around the house done, and hopefully this year we'll be able to get more going. I'm talking to Carolina, a girl from, a Venezuelan girl who's in Ecuador, and she's going to be working with us with editing and stuff like that. Then Christina's going to be taking over social media. Jose is going to be taking over there. He's already working on the uploading episodes and stuff like that. So in all, we're getting the team set up. Because the idea would be bring out all of the shows also they already have set up. Not only people that want to create something new, but those are already established. Because that's the other part. They think that I'm trying to reach out and steal their downloads or something, or piggyback off of them. And that's not the point, because they don't even have to promote us. They just have to be part of it. It's again like saying to your local library, you know what, I wrote this book and I'm going to allow you to let people read it for free instead of only having it for sale. You know? And so, because that general fund that it's also going to be, is going to be something going back to the creators itself. It's also going to have a percentage of it that is going to be going towards another 10% towards your investment into equipments and stuff like that. So once it gets to a level, unlike Spotify, the creator retains ownership at all points of the situation, and never cost them or you a damn thing. Literally all you gotta do is let us know you want to put a show. What's the name of the show? Description of it. We'll create a folder for you, and that's where you upload all your shit. Once you say when you want to upload the schedules and times and stuff like that, we can just set it all up, and that's it. You put it on the folder, we'll upload it for you. You put it on the folder, we'll upload it for you. That's it. I don't understand how much of a bad of a salesman I can be. And I work for Verizon, so I know I suck at it. Like, I did 3 years of customer service. I was fucking awesome. I did my last year as a sales rep, and oh my God, I quit before they fired me, basically. And I don't think they had fired me yet because they were short in personnel. They couldn't find people. But, and the other part is, I love what I do. So it's hard because to focus on this while also trying to focus on my main business as an interpreter. So if anybody listens to this far in yet, please stop. If somebody's talking, and not writing. Interpreters deal with spoken language, translators with written language. If there's an interpreter interpreting what somebody else is saying out loud, don't call us translators, please. I don't get it. I mean, I don't get that one. That one, everybody makes that mistake, except us in the field. Anyway, as I said, I don't expect anybody to listen to this except maybe me when I'm old. I don't even know if I'll make it this far at this point. But you never know where information is going to go, who it's going to reach, and what could happen. Hopefully in a positive way. But now I'm going to try to see, because I can feel myself now starting to forget the main points that I wanted to talk about and starting to just drift off of my thoughts. Because I want to start recording an episode of High on Paranormal, and I want to do some of just regular stories, but I haven't found anybody who wants to do those, and I really don't have the patience to read so many dumbass stories about paranormal that are not even close to real or anything, and just to wade through the sea of crap to get to something decent is hard. Because very few stories, everybody wants, that chill. It must have been the witches. Like, seriously? Like, you know how growing up in Venezuela, growing up in Latin America, depending on the country you're in, but like growing up in Venezuela, we believe in all kinds of fucking paranormal stuff and haunted stories and blah 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 and legends and lore. But I can tell you something though, when I was even as a young kid at my grandparents' house or somebody else, my mom's, my other grandparents, vacationing or whatever, you hear noises outside. And first thing, I never thought the first thing would be a witch or a spirit or something. I always thought a thief, something like that. And so when you have people from countries like, the violence is really not that uncommon. Like if you're in downtown Chicago and you hear knocking on your door, you're not going to think, oh my God, Candyman is here. You're going to think, oh shit, the gang is here. So why do we jump to conclusions like that? Like I heard of a story, I was reading a story, this is where I have the problem. I was reading a story, and the lady's about how, I believe I found a witchcraft burial. All right, I start reading. Basically, she's by a river, they're washing clothes at the river, and it's a well-known area, keep in mind, because I was keeping an eye out. I was very aware because it's a well-known area that the cartels used to use to kill people. And then, as I'm watching, my daughter tells me that she found some hair, and I go look, and there's this head of hair coming off the ground. So I just thought that must have been witchcraft, and we left. And 15 years later now, I'm thinking that maybe that was just a illegal burial, like, really? Now is when you think about it? 15 years later while recounting the story? Calm the hell on. So, that's why I wanted to call the show also Grumpy Old Man, because I sound very grumpy. Basically. But the idea would be just little by little, just start letting out all the good. Because I'm trying to have those conversations that I normally have with Jason. But since Jason gets so tired of having them, then I get to have them by myself. I'm also going to be sharing some of the good stuff and whatnot. Like today, Ellie really wanted to go fishing. at 2 years old, she really, really fucking wanted to go fishing. I asked if you wanted to go to the park. Yeah. And you want to go fishing? Yeah. To the park? No, fishing. Okay. And we got there, and she literally and she just went for my fishing pole. And so she was so excited about it. I thought she was going for the water, like, but nope. She wanted to go fishing. Afterwards, we actually went to Walmart and got her a $10 fishing pole, and she chose like a nice fishing pole, ice one, like the short little ones, but not the Disney ones or whatever. She chose an actual fishing rod. She liked the red one. And so, anyway, this is all the rant for today. It has gone way too long. I thought it was going to be like, sorry. I thought it was going to be like 10 to 20 minutes. I'm trying this new lapel microphone to see. Not new, but because I've been an interpreter, I got several microphones, and I'm trying to see which one works best. I like the voice right now, at least, meaning with the cough, with the, like, just hurting, my throat hurting, it's kind of like, hello there. But usually I speak a little bit lower even when I'm interpreting. But anyway, here I go rambling again. Hope everybody has a good night, day, afternoon, whatever. I'm gonna go and lay down. I'm gonna take some NyQuil and lay down.